Drawing without warming up first is like eating 5 bags of prawns in one go. In both cases, you will produce. And that happened to me a lot of times. Come on, the drawing part. But prawns are tasty. Well, maybe not 5 bags. Anyway, today I'm gonna give you a foolproof drawing warm-up routine that I use all the time to get my dexterity up to speed in just a few minutes. So that you also won't have to think, oh man, I just can't draw today. Also, I divided this in 3 levels of incremental difficulty and effectiveness. That is, the more complex, the more you can get out of it in a shorter amount of time. Okay, let's go. This needs to be done on paper. I'm doing it digitally because it's just more convenient for me to record it this way. But if you want to get the template that I have here, you can download it from the video description. If not, just make your own grid. You can make it similar to this or something else. Anything works on any crappy piece of paper as long as you do it on actual paper. Why? Because there are several things here like stabilization that is another layer between you and what happens on the canvas, and it's gonna skew your perception a little bit. So you're gonna start with circles and ellipses, and I'm gonna try to stay within the lines and shut up a little bit, otherwise I can't do it at the same time. This is what I want to do. You can also ghost a little bit, ghost, and then draw a circle. Oh, that's pretty bad. That's what happens when I talk and draw at the same time. But this is what you want to do. Move your whole arm, ideally from the shoulder, and draw circles of different sizes. Like here you can split with a curve, and draw them small, draw them big. The reason why I want you to do it not digitally is because if you zoom in, that's going to be completely useless. You want to get used to drawing circles of different sizes, alright? And then you can also go back and fill in the gaps. You can draw them as many fashions as you want. Then, once you're done with the circles, move to number 2, which is ellipses. So for the ellipses, you want them to have the same degree, that is the width, and the same angle. So, same drill. I just wrote circles here, but technically it's circles and ellipses. You can just do one or the other. And again, you can go over them more than once. You can also split in the middle. So you connect the middle point of the ellipse with the next one, more or less. And then you make them slimmer. Also go back like this. Too big. You can make them wider, you can make them the other way around. As long as they are ellipses, that's fine. This is starting to look like a circle. The closer they are to a circle, the more complicated they're gonna be, at least for me. So, and you can fill in all of this thing. Then once you're done with those, you can move to lines. And for this, I'm gonna tilt my canvas a little bit. You can do the same with your paper because I find that I draw better like this. And with this exercise, what we want to do is go over these example lines. Again, I highly recommend just you do your own if you don't want to use a template, because you're gonna maybe find a different variation of these. But you basically just have to go over these lines many times. I would say at least 5 to 10 times, and avoid this, okay? Avoid splitting. Something like that. Again, I can't really talk while I do this. You're not even holding your breath, you're just breathing out. Not too slow, not too fast. Because if you go too slow, you start doing this. If you go too fast, you're going to be, missing the actual line. So something in between. And again, it's kind of harder to do it digitally, but try my best. See, it's maybe a little too slow. And again, you want these to be of different lengths because you want to get used to drawing a little more. It's a little more complicated in the position I am now because I'm also recording, but in general, you want to be sitting in a comfortable position and have a lot of space around your arm so that you can swing it freely. Like this, maybe see, if I don't pay attention, it's gonna start curving. So you can ghost it and then go. Like that. Obviously, the longer they are, the more difficult they are. See, that's wrong. It's okay, no big deal. Then you can start with smaller curves here. Same drill. Do it longer. See, this is completely off. Unfortunately, I have Control Z here. But something like this works. That's the gist of it. See, this is off. You can do it in a different color, you can do it in the same color, it doesn't really matter. Next one. And for this, we're just going to use a blank paper. Or you can basically turn the sheet around, the previous one, and just put some dots randomly. And I'm not going to give you a template for the dots because it doesn't take that long. But all you want to do is connect them. And you will find that, again, there is a specific angle. For me, it's this angle. That is going to be a little easier for you to draw in or connect lines in. So, ghost. Connect. You want this to be straight, obviously. Or at least a few of them. And this kind of missed. This is a little curved. Maybe you can also connect them between. Like this. Still curved. It's pretty good. Then when you get warmed up enough, you can start using smoother lines. See, it's way more difficult because you don't know where you're going. But you can kind of predict it, more or less. I don't do this very often, so I'm not that precise, but it's gonna give you at least the thought process of looking ahead where you're drawing. For level 2, we want to do blobs, and you probably remember this from the previous video about drawing 3D forms, or the most important thing to study when you learn how to draw. And if you haven't, just go back and check that video. But basically, we're just drawing a bunch of potato-ish shapes. And these are going to be 2D for now, but soon these blobs will have to exist in 3D space. So, a little too close. Now we have all these potatoes. We're gonna turn them into actual potatoes by making them 3D. So you go over them, trying to feel the surface again. The point is to, and I'm doing this in real time intentionally because I want you to see what it looks like. You just go over them, decide an orientation. Is it going away from us or is it coming towards us? Then you draw basically what is a cross section. You see also the other side, like very lightly indicated. And you want to do this exercise for all, or this process for all of the 2D shapes, random blobs that you drew. Again, don't just do this. Okay, this is not okay. This is not okay. Slowly acknowledge what the form should look like, very slowly. Okay, if you have to do it like this, it doesn't have to be one single swoop. It doesn't have to be perfect ellipses like this. This is not going to help. You gotta go over the surface, even if it's wonky and wobbly. Like I'm exaggerating obviously here, but even if it's like this, it's absolutely fine. Then I'm not going to finish them all because it's going to take forever, but do boxes. You know, just random boxes. This is going to be a little more complicated probably than the blobs because you gotta make them look like boxes. You know, you can also do them, or you're gonna keep perspective in any case. You can also draw through so that you understand the actual volume it occupies or they occupy. But really, it's pretty simple. Just a bunch of boxes randomly scattered. This is a little off. Do not use Control Z if you do it digitally. I did just now. My bad. But it's really just gonna be very enlightening when you start getting into the flow, because you will automatically, especially if you do this after the blobs, you will automatically understand where a part of the box is supposed to go, right? Again, they don't have to be perfect. They can be, very soft like this. But obviously for these, you're gonna have to know a little bit of perspective, like 3-point ideally, more or less. Just know that these are converging, and these are converging, right? Just that. And level 3 is, you guessed it, gestures, or a quick sketch, if you will. And this is mostly what I do recently. I tend not to do as many circles and line exercises anymore, just because it takes me a little longer. Doing these is basically a compound exercise of everything that's split apart in the previous 2 levels, because you're going to have to draw blobs as well. If you take these to a more complex finish, you will start noticing you need to add volumes. And here's what I'm doing. Nowadays, I tend to do these mostly from imagination, but doing them from reference is also fine, in which case, probably use something like 10 or 30 seconds just to warm up. And then, if you can, try to draw blocks on top. That's pretty much it. That's what I do every day to warm up, and it works for me. But sometimes you will have a bad day, and you're not going to be able to recover probably that day. So it's okay. If you do have that bad day, just take a break and come back the next day and draw again. Just don't let bad days discourage you and make you stop drawing, because everyone has them. Really. Everyone. Probably even Kim Jong-gi had some. So that's all I got for you today, but if you're curious to know more about the 3D form exercise, you might want to check out this video next. Alright, good luck and take care.